There's nothing quite like the sound or indeed the smell of a gently sloping waterfall in an otherwise built-up urban environment. But what I'm most excited about right now is the reflection of this body of water and how I can capture something like the reflection of these buildings, make it interesting on my smartphone. Now, what I'm going to do is to film this not as a still image, but as a video instead. And the aim is, let's see if it works, to flip it by 180 degrees, rotate it, and I'm going to make this building, even though it looks upside down in the reflection, look as though it's the right way up and perhaps have this kind of shimmering in the heat effect. Let's give it a go. This is the framing I get when I'm in my photo mode. Now I'm going to shoot this as a video, so I'll just move over to video. You see everything changes. We've gone to 9:16, which is kind of like the vertical crop here. And what I don't like about this so much is that while I can see the reflection of the building, and that's going to be very interesting, I've got the grass on the side here, I've got some of the pavement on the side there. So what I'm going to do is just to punch in a little bit to, let's see, 1.5 I think is going to do it for me. So what I'm looking out for here are this line at the top of the fountain, the stonework. I want that to be perfectly horizontal with the top of the frame. It's going to be very obvious when it isn't, I think. But also at the bottom here, I want to make sure I'm not chopping off the bottom, or the top rather, of this building. Now I happen to know, and your phone may differ, but I happen to know that even though this bit is greyed out on the screen here, it is actually capturing that as well. So that might be worth just double checking before you embark on a series of these shots. I don't want any of that pesky grass on the left of frame to appear, so I'm just going to frame that out, and instead I've got a bit of the pavement on the other side. But overall, that's kind of what I've got. Now I'm going to need to hold this very, very steady. I've got my elbows literally as dug in as they can be to keep the camera as still as I can. And really, I don't need too much video. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. All right, I'm gonna hold my breath, see if I can make it work. 3, 2. No, I wobbled. I noticed that as I was filming, I was just starting to tilt upwards and I was seeing more and more of the drop of the fountain at the top, and I think that's going to spoil the effect. So I'll have one more go at that. 3, 2. There we go. That's all I'm going to need. Right, now I'm just going to do a little bit of a flip of this video, and let's see if my plan has worked out. What I did was to rotate my videos through 180 degrees so the upside down reflection of the buildings appears the right way up if you were looking at these buildings. However, this one hasn't quite worked. A couple of reasons. The bottom is quite messy. It's not quite horizontal. For the 5 or 7 seconds I was shooting in this frame, I've just drifted a little bit. But more distractingly really is that there's just a bit too much action on the water. It's just a bit too lively. Maybe there was a gust of wind that blew and shook the water up, so it wasn't quite as smooth, and really I'm struggling to make out what that is in the background. I can't quite make out the windows or the fact that it's a building. So nice effort, a good proof of concept if you will, just not quite the right execution. In this shot the water is not quite so lively, so it's really abundantly clear that it's a building that we're looking at. However, I've not quite got the headroom right at the top. While it's not uninteresting, it is a distraction. I'm wondering what it is, and given that my world is upside down here, I don't expect to see water falling in the wrong direction like it is here. So that doesn't quite work. And also at the bottom here, again, a bit more drift, a bit of distraction as the reflection of somebody walking by happens. And I've got this pigeon. Don't get me wrong, I do like a pigeon. However, right now this is an upside down pigeon and it's just an unnecessary distraction from this frame. in this video, my idea of flipping it by 180 degrees to make the reflection look as though it's the right way up, as though it's the real object that we're looking at, I think has worked very well. This is exactly what I had in mind. There's just enough shimmer in the water here that I can see that it's a building that we're looking at, but there's just something not quite right. Is it a really, really hot day? And that's what's just disturbing the air around it. The bottom of the frame is grounded, it's horizontal. I can see there's something strange going on with the water there, but it's kind of interesting. And everything else about the framing, even the line here from the bottom of this body of water, the stonework beneath it works to draw the viewer's eyes in. And finally, the colour cast from the kind of orangey, reddy stone on the bottom of this pool of water has created this haze, this orangey tint that feeds into this idea of it being a very, very hot day. This is exactly the image that I had in mind when I saw the reflection in the water here. I'm so pleased it came out well.